Gustave Courbet, the father of realism. Realism. It was a movement in mid to late 19th century art. The purpose of it was to replicate exactly what the artist saw with their eyes. It was a historical movement that began in France due to the French Revolution of 1848. Courbet's realism can be understood as part of the wider inquiry into the physical world that occupied science in the 19th century. Courbet rejected classical romantical treatments and instead took humble scenes of country life, although some of his earlier works has romanticism themes to it. He had a personal vision of realism that rejected any classical treatment or rhetoric, which was considered radical at the time. He wanted to paint exactly what he saw with his two eyes, even capturing the imperfections of his subjects. Right here's a painting he did in 1853, The Bathers. It is oil on canvas, and it currently resides in Musée Fabry, Montpellier. And as you can see, the great detail of the rolls on the lady's back. Gustave Courbet. Gustave Courbet was a French realist painter that was prominent from 1819 to 1877. He rejected the classical and theatrical styles of the French Academy. His art insisted on the physical reality of the objects he observed, even if that reality was plain and blemished. He was a committed Republican that saw his realism as a means to champion the peasants and country folk from his hometown. He was famous for his political appeals which gripped France. He died in exile in Switzerland when he was found guilty of the cost of rebuilding the Paris Vendôme column. Desperate Man, 1845, oil on canvas painting. This was before he developed his realistic painting style, and you can see hints of romanticism style in his self-portraits. You could also see how disheveled he looks. Portrait with Pipe by Gustave Courbet, 1848, 1849. This is another self-portrait of the artist. It currently resides in Musée Fabry in Montpellier, France, and it is oil on canvas. Jo, the Beautiful Irish Girl by Gustave Courbet, 1865. This painting resides in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. And as you can see, the detail of her hair and her expression of herself looking in the mirror. Fox in the Snow by Gustave Courbet, 1860. It is oil on canvas painting. It resides in the Dallas Museum of Art, Foundation for Arts Collection, Mrs. John B. O'Hara Fund. And you can see the fur of the fox and the snow. Very detailed work. Here's some interesting facts. His form of realism paved the way for other modern movements such as Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. His work influenced artists in modernism such as Edouard Monet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, and Claude Monet. He consistently painted in a realistic mood during his time in Paris, where he was requested to paint angels for a church, where he remarked, "Show me an angel and I will paint one." The Meeting of Bonjour Musée Courbet, 1854, oil on canvas, Montpellier Musée Fabry. Here are other paintings that he drew. The Painter Studio, Rio Allegory summing up a 7-year phase of my artist's life, 1855, all on canvas. Sleep, 1866, oil on canvas. Musée des Beaux Arts de la Ville de Paris. And here are my works cited.